I want you to know how to do a Kegel and how to relax your pelvic floor because it's important that you know how to do both. And we're gonna get into that today. My name's Christine, I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist, and if you like these videos, subscribe to my channel so you never miss one. Let's go ahead and start with anatomy. So these are your hip bones, this is your pubic bone, and this is your tailbone. Your pelvic floor muscles attach from the pubic bone to the tailbone. We have 3 layers. We have this first one, we have a middle one, and we have a deeper one. They have 4 main functions. They help support your internal organs, which would be sitting right up here. They help with bowel and bladder function. They help with sexual function. And our pelvic floor is at the center of our body, so it helps with stability. So I want you to think of our pelvic floor like a trampoline. It needs to lengthen and it needs to shorten. So it does both things. And that's how we have a strong and healthy pelvic floor. It's not just one or the other, it's both parts that make it so important, and we need to know how to do both. I'm gonna put this to the side. I have the ball because we're gonna pretend the ball is your diaphragm. So our diaphragm's right here, like under our ribs. Pretend this is under my ribs. When we inhale, the diaphragm moves down. And when we exhale, it moves back up to its resting position. The diaphragm and our pelvic floor are extremely connected. I brought this band because we are gonna pretend the band is our pelvic floor. So we're doing a lot of pretending today. I did it this way, which I don't know if this is the best way, but it's the way we're gonna do it. So if I'm here and I inhale, the diaphragm moves down, and what happens to the band? It gets longer. And then when I exhale, it gets shorter. So these are your pelvic floor muscles, the band. And I'll explain, stay with me because we're gonna talk about it. When you inhale, your diaphragm moves down and your pelvic floor muscles lengthen. When you exhale, your diaphragm moves up and they shorten or they go back to resting place. We can use that to our advantage when we are trying to do Kegels or reverse Kegels, which is focusing on the relaxing. So I want you to be inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth like you're blowing out candles when we work on contracting our pelvic floor, which will be step 1. So step 1, let's go ahead and do a Kegel. You inhale through the nose and your pelvic floor gets lengthened, and then you exhale through the mouth like you're blowing out candles. And as you're doing that, I'm gonna give you a cue that's a little funky. You are gonna exhale, and at the same time when you're blowing out those candles, imagine there's a blueberry on the floor or on the table or on your mat if you're lying down, and you're picking that blueberry up with your vaginal opening and lifting it all the way up to your stomach. And then when you inhale, you bring that blueberry all the way down, and when you exhale, you lift it back up. Now, let's do that with our breath. So you inhale, you're putting the blueberry down, you exhale through the mouth, and you're lifting it up. And that's how you do a Kegel. You wanna make sure you're not squeezing your butt too much or your abs too much. There will be some abdominal activation. That's completely normal, but it shouldn't be like sucking in your stomach. And let's try it together. So lie down on your back, and I like starting on our back because if we're sitting or standing, gravity's pushing down, it makes it a little harder to do a Kegel sometimes. I like to put my hands on my lower abdomen. I inhale through my nose. I fill my belly with air, and then I exhale through my mouth like I'm blowing out candles, and I'm pretending to pick a blueberry up with my vaginal opening and bring the blueberry all the way up to my stomach, and then I inhale again and put the blueberry back down. You inhale, you bring it down, you exhale, you bring it up. Good, and that's how you do a Kegel. Now let's focus on reversing that because that's so important. What I want you to think about, if you're always squeezing, look at these 2 sit bones. If you inhale, as you're inhaling, pretend these 2 sit bones are separating from each other because you're filling this area with air and they're opening up or spreading apart. You can also think about breathing through your butthole. So if you were to breathe in here, imagine air is filling up this area and just opening it up. Let's try it. We're not gonna do any squeezing. We're gonna focus on our breath, inhaling and opening up, exhaling, going back to rest. So when I do these, I like to be in a butterfly pose, And you can have something supporting your legs if this feels like too much. So you take a deep breath in and imagine that breath going all the way down to your sit bones, filling them with air and spreading them apart. Good. Now exhale and come back to rest. Inhale again and pretend you're inhaling and filling your butt with air. And then exhale and bring it to rest. Good. Let's do that a few times. So this is a position I love. Or bring your knees up and bring them apart, like a modified happy baby or a happy baby. This can just be a little easier if you're really focused on opening up the pelvic floor to breathe here. And really imagine when your diaphragm's moving down, everything here is lengthening, relaxing, and melting away. I really hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, send me a message or comment below. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye.